Man, what's happening, man? You got Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch,
Doug Hendrickson,
and Gavin Newsom, and you're listening to Politickin.
Chewing on the beat. Chewing on the beat.
I don't know what the hell you did last week, but I was running around in cartel tunnels last week, hanging out at the border, down there hanging out with pandas from China.
So did you bring some work back, though?
What's that?
Did you bring some work back, though?
By the way, one thing you learn about the tunnels, those are two-way cartel tunnels. It's not just the drugs coming in, it's the cash and the guns going out. It's a hell of a thing.
How much you come up on, though? Did you get a couple, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, how many tunnels are down there? Are we talking
about how many tunnels?
Thousands of tunnels? How many tunnels?
It's a crazy thing. I know everyone talks about building a wall, but it's what happens below the surface that's almost impossible to detect. So I had an opportunity to go down to the border, but also went down into one of these tunnels. And when they go down into the tunnels, the Border Patrol and others actually have to bring Narcan down there because of the residual fentanyl that's often left behind.
So you saying you went down in a tunnel to get high? So you went down low to get high, is what you're telling me?
Low to get high. But it's a reminder. You can get high walking and climbing over those damn border walls. But I'm serious. They don't even know how many tunnels are out there, and they've been finding more and more tunnels. The technology is pretty primitive, but it's pretty basic. I mean, you just go in, there's little rail lines where they move people and they move the narcotics. And when I say move people, the tunnel that I was at, they discovered there was dozens and dozens of people, particularly Chinese, that were.
So you seen some people? There was some people in there and passing while you was going through there, like, "Hey, what's up?" No, I'm just on my way to America right quick, blood. I'm gonna holler at. Hey, look, you got my vote when I get over there.
I'll be back for dinner.
It don't work like, you're sounding like right-wing talking points. You get my vote when you're.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, if you let me slide through this tunnel one time for the one time I get up, you know what I mean? When I get over there, look, you got to vote. But you feel
me? That's not how we're. By the way, the human trafficking is becoming even as big, lucrative-wise, in terms of just money, as the drug trafficking, which is crazy.
They just sell the whole person?
It's bad, man. The human trafficking, which a lot of people are coming just for, they're actually paying off those that are traffickers, and they end up paying them off for the rest of their life, not only in terms of sex trafficking, but just hard labor for the rest of their life. But others are just paying off these cartels at the border, $7,500. Some cases, it's tens of thousands of dollars, depending. And if they don't pay, we're starting to see a lot of folks that have been shot on sight if they haven't paid the traffickers.
So if they know this, right? If they know that, then how is there so much dope coming in this motherfucker? Because look, it was a point in time. I had a couple, family members that done passed away from fucking with that fentanyl. You feel what I'm talking about? But that shit getting through, bruh, and that shit getting through at large amounts, though. You know what I'm talking about? And if they know where it's coming from, it's like, well, then why you just don't go there and just be like, hey, look, check it out. Let me get that fentanyl right quick. Go on back about your business. But that shit is finding its way through, though.
In massive quantities. And the irony is you don't need a massive amount of that drug to be deadly. It's cheap. It's easily mixed with other drugs. It's all over the country. It's leading to tens of thousands of overdoses. And the vast majority is coming in through the Mexican border. But it's also a lot of the precursor chemicals that come into the component parts are coming from China. And it was interesting. I was with the Chinese ambassador the day after I was at the border, and we discussed some of the work that the Biden administration is doing with President Xi to address precursor chemicals. So to answer your question, Marshawn, is they're trying to deal with what goes into Mexico and trying to hold the line on those chemicals before those chemicals are converted to fentanyl, and then they come into the United States. I put 394 men and women from the National Guard to support our counter-narcotics and our interdiction efforts to support the folks down there at Border Patrol. That's why I was down there with our National Guard men and women that are supplementing.
So how much they getting paid then?
No, they're
That shit's still coming through.
I know, but they're not. It's not like the old days. I don't know. I don't even know what the old days were. But look, we got folks doing the right thing.
Because I know a brick of fit going for a brick of fentanyl going for something stupid right now. You know what I'm talking about on the street. That shit keeping the economy moving.
But Gavin, I appreciate your work this week. I want to acknowledge our partner here, Gavin, because guess what? Since the Hall of Fame game last week, he is now eligible for the Hall of Fame next year. And so our guy right here, this time next year, might be walking into Canton in the Hall of Fame. He should be. And I think he will be.
How does it work?
So now he's eligible, since he's 5 years removed from his last game, to be in the Hall of Fame next year. I do believe we'll be sitting here next year, and Marshawn will be wearing the yellow jacket on the podcast. So Marshawn, congratulations to you being first year eligibility this year coming up. It's going to be a fun year and fun ride for all of us.
How many people get in every year?
There's about 5 that get in every year. There's probably a list of 10 newcomers this year that are on the ballot, of which I would believe Marshawn's in the top 2 or 3 of the new list. I'm not going to name the other names. And then there's obviously guys that from the past years that are eligible too that didn't get in. But look, we've got a great chance, and I think we'll be there. And no, it's going to be a fun year, Gavin, because like I said, this is kind of the build up now to that next class. You can hear a lot of stuff about Marshawn these next 8-9 months.
So is this part of it? Is this kind of like getting an Oscar? You got to work the refs right now. You're sort of promoting, talking them up.
I think I got to go on tour or some shit like that.
Do you?
I got to start campaigning, Doug. Motherfucker supposed to be my agent.
I will be campaigning for you hard. Today's my first day of campaigning for you. Okay.
This is it. This is the
start of it.
I'm going to go high and hard for a long time. The whole year, Gavin, you and me are going to be on the trail promoting Marshawn.
Let me ask you, is this like politics? Do you take down your opponent, or are you just out there promoting yourself? Well, tell me the truth,
I gotta go throw a couple motherfuckers under the bus and shit, bro.
Tell them the truth. You guys must do op research on your other running backs, try to trip them up. Come on, tell me the truth. Or this is like a love fest, and I'm there rooting for the other guy.
Because the other running backs, you know what I mean? I don't got to play against them. So, you know what I mean? It ain't nothing but more power, more respect to them.
To be where we're at right now after, all these years when he came out in 2007 to be considered for the first ballot, which is very, very rare. I don't know the numbers of running backs that have been in first ballot, but I believe we will be in a good spot, Gavin. So it's going to be a fun run.
I love it. Do you get a bonus or something, Marshawn? You going to pay him a bonus if you get in the Hall of Fame, or just, to acknowledge him at the speech?
No, that ain't got nothing to do with his ass. That was my body. That nigga should give me a bonus. Shit.
Hey, Gavin, as agents, we don't charge on bonuses, unfortunately.
Because if I got in, then he like, oh yeah, when he go out recruiting, the next generation of players, like, oh yeah, I represent Hall of Fame running back, blah 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 blah. Or how many Hall of Fame guys you got right now?
No, you'd be my first Hall of Fame guy, so it'd be pretty exciting.
So I'm your daddy, boy.
You're my son.
Look at my baby boy. I see you, Jameer. Look, man. Look, they told me as a black man you don't want to be first to do nothing, but hey, right now, if I'm your first one, then that just solidified. You no longer call me Marshawn, Sean, Mr. Lynch, Beast Mode, D-A-D-D-I. Why?
There you go, Daddy.
Not the one that made you, but the one that raised you. You understand? And I don't call you S-O-N. I call you S-U-N because you shine, son. You understand me?
Jeez.
But guess what, guys? We have a great guest coming up, and I think he's ready for us right now.
Yeah. What does Jimmy Kimmel know about the Hall of Fame? He'd be in his own Hall of Fame. His own Hall of Fame for late night.
What's up with your boy? What's happening?
How you doing?
I'm cool, big dog. What's the word? I know. My bad. But I had to say what's happening to my. You know what I mean?
Nobody knows what you mean more than me, Marshall.
That's the see, look, man. Hey, we gonna hold a special bond, my boy.
That's right.
So he's like, Jimmy, you speak Marshawn? Because man, I can use a translator sometimes, brother.
Look, here you go, Gavin. Get off that square shit, man. I told you gotta let your nuts hang, man. Just kick back and let it flow. You understand me?
That is great advice. You do have to let your nuts hang.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Jesus.
Shit, why not?
Thank you from both of you. Really? Yeah. Doug, you're the agent. Save me, buddy.
No, you know what? Here's the deal. Marshawn's let it hang for a long time. I've let him ride with it, and it's worked so far. So all good. But Jimmy, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, man.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for hanging with us. By the way, what? I just saw this. What the hell happened to Huey Lewis?
Well, yeah, Huey Lewis is my good pal. In fact, Huey Lewis is the guy that got me into fly fishing, which I know you were an avid aficionado of. Indeed. And Huey Lewis has Meniere's disease. Marshawn, do you know who Huey Lewis is?
Nah, because I was just, if you wasn't looking and couldn't see my face, I was about to hit you with who that? You know what I mean? But
how old are you, Marshawn?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Some people would say, you know what I mean, I'm 21.
Yeah.
Realistically,
you're too young for Huey Lewis.
I'm about 40.
You've seen Back to the Future, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You know the power of love from Back to the Future? That's the power of love, the heart of rock and roll.
Okay.
You know, he had a lot of hits in the 80s. Anyway, he's a good pal of mine, and he's lost his hearing. He's got something called Meniere's disease, so he can't sing anymore. And so we thought, oh, maybe we'll try to sell a TV show, and Fox was interested, and they bought we're developing it, is what they say. And so we're writing a script, and hopefully we'll have a TV show for Huey Lewis coming up.
Oh, you writing it?
I'm no, a guy named Kirker Butler is writing it, and I'm producing it.
Okay, because look, man, motherfuckers had me, you feel me, like I was back in school and shit, had me doing my homework on you and shit, though, right? And then I found out you was behind Crank Yankers.
That's right. That's my show. Yeah.
Dog, that shit used to have it rolling, bro. I'm talking about on my back, though. You feel me? I said, oh shit. The other time I didn't even know that was you that did that shit. But I'm like, bro, that shit was too funny, bro.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, those are the old days, Comedy Central.
Oh God, so you just be coming with hits and shit.
I try, you know, I not as many hits as you, but I've delivered a few.
Nah, them different kind of hits though. Them shits affect the body and they affect the, you know what I mean, they affect the brain.
Yeah.
But they got this new medicine that they've been putting out on the market that kind of counteract that, get your body feeling right, get your head feeling right. You know
Is that right?
It take you to a thing that they call your happy place. You know what I'm saying?
Is it something that our governor has legalized in the state of California?
Hey, well, I
yeah,
mean,
Marshawn, huh? There's a medical breakthrough, is it?
Hey, you know what? And it worked. You know, it worked all the way down to my mama. You know what I mean? Now
right.
You feel me? We could bond on some shit. You know what I mean? Them old school aches and pains that a motherfucker had. You feel me? You get a little bit of this.
I gave my parents some gummies, and my parents have never smoked anything in their lives or done anything. They've never. I mean, they barely even drink, and it was a fun experience. It was. I mean, I wish they were high all the time, to be honest with you.
They more personable, huh? You know, that was one of the times, you know.
There's less of an edge.
I made a breakthrough with my mama, you know what I mean?
Hey, Jimmy, speaking of that, I've long admired your career and what you've done, obviously, from crank anchors to radio and comedy. So growing up, I'm curious, so were your parents funny? Because obviously you know, did you grow up in a show business household? Were your parents funny? Did you crack jokes with them?
My dad's not funny. My dad's not funny, but everyone else in my family is funny. My mom was class wit in her high school in Brooklyn. She went to a huge high school in Brooklyn, New York, and she was she's funny, and everyone, all the women in our family are very funny. My grandfather was very funny. It's just one of those things, like you can't be part of our family unless you're funny. My dad is funny, but not intentionally. He's got his own kind of humor, which is
no sensitivity in the household, because it's like you come in this house, you better be on your shit, otherwise you gonna get your ass gonna get roasted.
There is zero sensitivity. There's
look, you know what? We probably got more in common than you think. Because I mean, I'm telling you, you come into my house, look fresh. I'm telling you.
Isn't it funny? You know, for me, like
everybody.
I became the famous comedian. Marshawn became this funny football player that everybody loves, but I know that there are at least 6 people in my family who are funnier than I am.
And it be like that though.
It
be like that
because
I got people in my family that I know for sure way better athletes than me.
How is it possible that there's not a Lynch family reality TV show? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer.
Mama Lynch, starring Mama Lynch, and then Marshawn co-star.
We for real, because we kind of, we kind of stayed away from the cameras and shit, and we made it like a family affair. So, but when you do get that rare opportunity to see some of that shit, you talking about some, hold on, where the fuck this dude been at, or where she been at this whole time? Because this motherfucker is funny.
Well, Jimmy, I know you went to school in Vegas, Jimmy. Marshawn's living in Vegas. Maybe you can go out there. How about we do a reality show with you? You and Marshawn go back to Vegas, live in a house together, and that'd be pretty interesting.
It might be hard for me to do my job, but I would be definitely interested in seeing Marshawn.
Because I'm gonna have you hiding the motherfucker, man. You understand me? Our whole, you know what? Our whole life would be like a goddamn a crank anchor skit.
I don't see why not. Who do you think is on the Mount Rushmore of weed? Who would you guys say is on that? I mean, Snoop obviously has got to be there.
The left to the right. But this, by the way, Marshawn, this one, I will defer, as they say, Marshawn, to you on this one, brother.
Willie Nelson's got to be on it.
Yeah, Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, 100%. Well, we're going to have to put more than 4 heads on this thing.
Snoop, of course.
Cheech and Chong have to be on them.
Oh, nice. Cheech.
But I think I've seen some with Cheech and Chong on, I think he was doing something with Matt Barnes and Stacks, and they were saying, that was all for play. Now, I don't know how much I believe it. You know what I mean? Because they looked at hot in the motherfucker while they was doing that thing. You feel me? But see, though, I got a couple knocks in my family that, you feel me, though, I mean, I know y'all think Snoop smoke a lot, but you feel me, though, I got a cousin, I'm talking about this blow like a chimney, you know what I'm talking about? It's almost like every time I turn around, he got a blunt in his mouth, and he rolling one. Matter of fact, it's a GABA leaf, you feel me? So he trying to get, you know what I'm talking about? He trying to get high, and I'll be like, damn, bro, like, and you work with kids. I'm like, how you do that? Jesus. If you understood, then you understood. In order to deal with them, boy, sometimes you got to be out your right mind.
This has to be the weirdest podcast ever, right?
But don't worry though. They said it get better though with time.
It gets better. Yes.
Jesus. By the way, hey, speaking of time, how many times? Well, we'll talk another day about how much of that's going on during the NFL season. That's that whole drug testing regimen there is a little questionable. I'll just leave it at that. I ain't talking about you, Marshawn. I'm just saying that's what I hear. Second, third hand. That's what I hear.
Marshawn, have you ever been in a situation where you're on vacation and the NFL said, okay, it's time for your drug test, and they had to send a guy out to you?
Hey, man, look, I ain't gonna even hold you. Look, I was doing a pop-up shop out here in Vegas for my Beast Mode clothing line, and I was in something called a program. So my address is California. I was in Vegas. And I get a call like, hey, I ain't at home, blase. Oh, okay, no problem. Call you back in 5 minutes. They had a drug test motherfucker on deck in Vegas. This motherfucker pulled up to my pop-up like, hey, you got to piss. I'm like, bro, we on the strip. What you, like, we got to go to the bathroom, bro. It's one of the most awkward motherfucking positions I've ever been in my life, bro. We was at the Flamingo, bro. We go in the bathroom, bro. He whip out the whole kit. Put it on the table. I'm like, nah, we can't. Like, bro, you know how embarrassing this gonna be, bro? Somebody come in here and catch me having to piss in this cup for you. He like, well, look, man, you got 30 minutes. If you don't piss, you know what I mean? You gotta you gonna get a failed drug test. Suspension, four games. Man, I went to that door. I locked that door, bro. You got a whole mob of people banging on the door. Boom, 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 boom. I'm in there, got to piss in this cup, bro. Most awkward fucking position, bro, is when I got to unlock that door, bro. And this dude with the big ass piss kit bag walking out, bro. And I'm sitting there like, oh, man. But they won't. They piss.
Well, wait. The question we all have is: did you pass? Did you pass?
Let's just say I wasn't suspended for 4 games.
well, Jimmy, here's a funny story, and you might have used this back in the day, but around 2003, 2004, I had a client, and I'm
just you out of pocket.
I'm basically just going through my day, and I get a call, and my client calls me, and this is a true story, public story. My client calls me and says, "Hey, I got stopped at the TSA checkpoint." And I said, "Well, what did you have?" He said, "Well, I had this contraption." I said, "What do you mean it's contraption?" and he's like, "Well, it's this thing that you use to avoid drug tests." I said, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "It's called the Whizzinator." Mm-hmm. And so he said, they stopped me. There was some like white powder in my thing. I said, "Well, what was the white powder?" He says, "Well, the white powder, you put water on it and it becomes fake urine, and that'll go to pass the drug test." So here I'm Googling this Whizzinator thing. And it's a contraption that you put on, and you can buy them in different colors. You can buy black ones, white ones, different colors. Whizzinator.
Fresh you out of pocket, bro.
Oh, wonderful. That's progressive.
And so he used a Whizzinator to pass all these tests. And the Whizzinator, I didn't know back in the time, was used, in different industries. But that particular test caused the NFL to then say, we want to watch Marshawn piss. We want to watch these guys. That was the last time that anybody could just go in the bathroom on their own and bring the cup back. So the Whizzinator stock went like crazy when this thing came out. I think Letterman or Leno, one of them talked about it on the air, and the Whizzinator became some massive product. But that was the last time they would allow these NFL guys to basically piss in quiet, I would say.
Oh boy, I experienced this with I went on a little vacation trip with Tony Romo and his wife, and he got a call we're up in Northern California, and they said, "Yeah, you need to have the drug test." And he's like, "Oh, I'm in Napa Valley. I don't know how that's going to be possible." And they said, "Well, we'll send somebody up." And sure enough, they sent a guy up, and he had the kit, just as Marshawn said, and the guy had to go in the bathroom with him. And it was it was very strange, but
man, that's some disrespectful ass shit, man.
Yeah. And by the way, how bummed were those guys that collect the tests when they told them, like, "Oh, from now on, you're going to have to be in the stall with the guy looking at his penis."
Totally.
That's some out of pot, man.
I tried to get the guy to tell me who had the biggest and smallest penis in the NFL.
There we go.
Declined. I guess for professional reasons, he wasn't able to share that.
No, but Gavin, no joke. They would literally, if you're in Bali on vacation and you don't tell them where you're at, they will find you in Bali. They will find you anywhere to get that test done. It's unbelievable.
By the way, my understanding though is once they do one test and you're clean, that's it for the rest of the season. Or they stick on top of you.
Well, here's the deal with
that's just a green goddamn light.
That's if you're not in a program. If you're not in a program, it's one scheduled test. You pass that test, and then you good. But if you're in that program, shit, I know I done probably got tests maybe like 4 times in 1 week.
And Jimmy, do you know what day the test you have to pass is? It's 4/20. So for April 20th, no bullshit. April 20th is the date the NFL tests the players in the offseason.
So it's a double holiday.
That's really that. You know what? That's like so making you do taxes on Christmas Eve. That's unfair. And Governor Newsom, you should do something about that.
No, you know what? I've been trying to do something. By the way, this is just for the record. I mean, and Marshawn, we've talked about it, Jimmy. Marshawn, I remember talking about just the absurdity of just the whole marijuana regime in the NFL. It's hardly a great performance enhancer.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, these guys are jacking up people with prescription drugs after games. They're going home, taking shots of Jack Daniels, or you can smoke a little weed and have all the medical benefits, not wake up feeling like shit or addicted to all these prescription drugs. The whole thing is absurd. And so I hope the NFL is starting to wake up to that new reality and moving forward with some more common sense.
Yeah, it is nonsensical.
Yeah. Well, what's also nonsensical is you're refusing to go back on the Oscars, leaving us with no host, Jimmy. No host. No one wants the damn job. Why don't you want the job?
It is fun. It's hard. It's a lot of work, and and the show suffers a little bit, to be honest, your nightly show, because when I'm focused on the Oscars, I'm less focused on the show. And I just decided I didn't want to deal with that this year. It was just too much last year. You wind up pushing everything off till after the Oscars, and then you have to do everything you promised to do after the Oscars. And, I also, I did 2 years, went well. I did another 2 years, it went well. I figured I'd take a little break.
So how did you balance that though? Because I mean, my transition, right, from being from playing the game and then transitioning over into the entertainment space, like it's a lot of crossover, but that shit get pretty hectic. I'm just curious to how you transition from
I'm not good at balancing. I'm really not. It's not one of my strengths. I'm all in when it comes to something like the Oscars. I think about it in the morning and at night, and I have ideas. I want to work on them, and then the show seems like my nightly show seems like a nuisance sometimes. We have all our writers from the show working on the Oscars, so it distracts them, and it's fun to do, and it feels good when it went well. But for me, it just was too much. To do it 3 years in a row.
So you have like full creative control over that?
Pretty much, yeah. They don't interfere much. They really don't. I mean, it's part of the deal. They don't pay you, but they also don't interfere.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's a sharp motherfucker, boy. You sharp as fuck.
I mean, you must have given them some advice on someone that would be a good host. I mean, what's the over under on that?
I think there are a lot of people who would be good hosts of the Oscars. It's just a matter of most of them don't want to do it. It takes a lot of time, and a lot of the people who you think, oh yeah, that person would be great. She'd be great. He'd be great. They know they'd be great. They just don't want to do it. And especially when you think somebody's going to be great, the only thing they can do is prove you wrong when they host the Oscars. So it's they say it's a thankless job, and I wouldn't necessarily describe it like that, because when it goes well, it isn't. But it's a tough spot to be in.
Hey, Jimmy, speaking of hosts, this summer I know you took a little hiatus and you had a bunch of guest hosts. Are you picking those guest hosts yourself, or does the network pick them, or how do you figure out these guest hosts? Because they've all been fantastic. Anthony Anderson was great. Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds. I mean, unbelievable guys.
This is our, I think, third summer of guest hosts on the show. And what we've done is we've invited some people that we really like back. Now, some of the people we invited that we really like back weren't able to do it this summer, but when we develop a shorthand with some of these people, like Anthony Anderson has done it more than anyone, and he's a good friend. He knows everyone on our staff. He's been on our show probably 30 or 40 times. So when he's there, it doesn't even feel like it's a guest host. And then we have people like, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds filling in. They did one night, and all the nerds on the staff are super excited because they love the superhero stuff, and then those guys are both super talented, and so I think it's a good exercise for our staff to have another host in there, because there are a lot of things that I do when I'm there that they suddenly have to do, and I feel like when I come back, they appreciate me more.
I love it. So, Jimmy, you're obviously somewhere right now with some elk in the background. You're not in Hermosa Beach or LA. I take it. When you're off this summer, you shut it down, or you put the phone away and you fly, fish, and hang out, chill, or what do you do on a normal day basis?
I do. I like to fish. I do a lot of cooking. I cook a lot more during the summertime than I do. I feed the kids. I made some Korean barbecue the other night. I do a lot of meat smoking and that sort of thing. And I just mostly get away from my telephone.
So you get the opportunity to go and be a human.
To be, yes, a normal human being.
So you got like, 'cause I ain't gonna lie, like when I my first time retiring, I'm thinking like, yeah, this shit finna be everything. But what I found out was I was institutionalized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Being able to get away from that shit, and I'm figuring out like, oh, okay, nah. All right, wake up at 6:24 in the morning. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get ready for prep. Oh no, wait, I ain't playing. And then now I gotta figure out some shit like how to.
Was that hard? Was it a tough adjustment?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was hard as fuck.
I remember having dinner with Mike Piazza one night, and it was not long after he retired, and he told me that he didn't know how to make a plane reservation. He had to learn because his whole life people had been making these plane reservations for him, and
I don't know anything about that.
Do it.
I don't even understand that. And by the way, do you guys have to drive yourself anywhere? Or people do that.
When the last time you drove a car? Yeah,
it's all good, man. I was thinking about that.
Do you got a license, bro?
It's by the way, I went to the White House a few months ago. They said, "Where's your license?" I said, "You got to be kidding me! I don't drive. I haven't driven."
Well, Jimmy, you've been on vacation, Jimmy. But did you see Gavin cleaning the streets of LA the other day of these encampments and trash?
Man, I told you, Gav, stop going out there for them goddamn photo ops.
You know, my wife is on the board of directors at a great organization called St. Joseph Center, and they do a really great job of helping people get off the streets in Los Angeles, and we do a lot of stuff for and with them. And one of the things that we did was we got a hold of a parking lot, and we set it up with the governor actually gave us 8 FEMA trailers, and so we put in each of those trailers homeless mother and her children in each of the trailers. And it's been going on now for years. And every one of the families transitions out into a house. They're helped with job assistance. They really help to give them time to get on their feet and out of their cars or wherever they were living with their children, which is absolutely horrible. And it's been an eye-opening experience. I mean, I don't envy you having to tackle that problem because it is so very complicated and just so. I don't, you know, I mean, I know that what we do there and what this St. Joseph Center does is of great help, but also sometimes you feel like, oh my God, this is only 8 families. You know, there are thousands of people out there.
You know, it's interesting. I've been doing a lot of encampment cleanups for years and years, but one story sticks with me. It's indelible, and it's in the spirit of what you just said. I was down in San Diego. We were near an off-ramp. We went in, and this guy comes out. He was a little bit agitated that we had come up on the encampment in this tent. Clearly a meth addict, the teeth, the whole thing. Came up, introduced himself as a meth addict, and said, "Hey, man, I'm a little pissed off you're here, but thank you." And I said, well, I appreciate that. He goes, "Well, here's why I want to thank you." We opened the tent, and there is a brand new baby. I'm talking about a couple days old, man, a couple days old. And he said, can you help my wife? And can you help my kid? And she's strung out, this poor kid right there. And it was just a reminder. I mean, you can walk by people, you can drive by people and call that compassion. And I'm sure as hell glad we got in there and tried to save this kid and this family. And you know what's interesting? This was a young guy who came from the Midwest. He said, "I got a Greyhound bus. I was struggling with meth addiction." And he said, "My girlfriend and I, we eventually got married." He said, "We both came out. And by the time we were going to be clean and sober, a new life in California. And when we got off the Greyhound bus, we knew we couldn't do it." He goes, "That's how, it just the throes of addiction." And so it's so complex, this stuff. And same time, you can fix it. I mean, in your proof point of that, you and your wife and the work we're done. I mean, you see people that have turned their lives around all the time. We know we can solve it. It's just the scale, Jimmy, to your point, the scale of the challenge, which is so overwhelming.
And the work never stops. It never stops. You know, people come to California. It's warmer and it's a liberal environment, but then you get situations where nobody wants homeless people in front of their business, and I understand that. And boy, I think that is just the toughest one there is.
No, so when you do something like that, and you go and clean up the we call them the 10 cities, and then you go and you get them people up out of there. Then what's the alternative? Like, what you got for them? Like, where they going? Like, what's going on? Because I noticed that in Oakland, the spots that have been, cleaned up or whatever, then what happened is you get a lot of this shit, a lot more car break-ins, you get a lot more kick doors on the home on houses and shit, and it's like all of that shit that those people that had, over the years, they done accumulated that shit, and then when you go and clean that shit up and get rid of it, it's like, oh, well, fuck, I got to go out and I got to hit again because now I really don't got shit. Now, not only do I not have a place where, I was laying my head, but, and them motherfuckers be nice, boy. They be having like solar panel systems going on, TVs, you know what I mean? The little stoves, all the shit. Like, and then when you clean that up and you get them up out of there, then I see it raised the crime rates in a lot of these places because now it's like, well, shit, I had this and now I don't got it, so I got to go get it again. So, like, where do you?
No, Marshawn, without getting too deep in the weeds, I mean, that's the tension. It's you just out of sight, out of mind. You just sort of cleaning up a block and creating a problem around the block. And so, won't bore you, but we've got a whole process and a protocol. We call it resolution grants to resolve the underlying issues, to provide services and supports to address the complex issues. And they're multifaceted. It could be drug or alcohol addiction, mental health. It could be a combination of both. It could be something as simple as having a dog, but the shelter won't take your dog with you. And so you refuse to even go into the shelter. People have been in shelters, but have been assaulted. And so they need a house and getting a landlord that allows, even if you have a voucher, to rent to someone that's impoverished. So it's complicated, man. It's hard, but it's the crisis that I think defines more stress and more frustration than any other in the state of California, and people's anger about the state, to be candid.
Yeah, so that shit is really hard though, right? Because I own a building in downtown, right? And that's across the street from like a city team. And they do a lot for the homeless. And what end up happening is at a certain time, like they'll close their doors and then, if you're not there on time, then you can't get in. And what they end up doing is they'll come and sleep, right in front of my building. And now I got 5 commercial units downstairs. So, at this time now you walking into, maybe the barbershop and it's like, you got 6 or 7 people just laying in the doorway and it's like, man, get your ass up, get up out of here. And then what happened is them people remember that you just made them get up and they don't have nowhere to go. So as soon as that sun go down, them street lights come on, them motherfuckers coming, they kicking in my doors. You feel what I'm saying? They kicking in my doors, busting my windows like, all right, you don't let me sleep. They taking shits in front of the doorways. They pissing all on the buildings around. Like it just stink. The garbage cans that we have out there, I'm talking about overfilled to the max. And it's just like, well, fuck. And just across the street, it's like, you have a place to go, but all right, you can't get in. Now what I'm going to do? Now I'm like, all the people there like, oh, they broke in last night and they stole my product. And then, if it's a vacant space down there, then, come in there, do a little bit of cleanup. And then I like, damn, somebody kicked in the door. I got, motherfucker got their whole goddamn bedroom set up in the bathroom in one of the buildings. It's like, hold on, what the fuck is going on?
Amen. No, and by the way, I know Jimmy came on like, what the hell are we talking about homeless? But this is real. It's raw. It's emotional. It's complex. You just described it. But it's, it's reason when I come back, I'm going to come back as Jimmy and Marshawn and Doug, not as
Jimmy,
a washed up politician.
See if you could have, that company that you just talk about, send me a couple of the FEMA trailers down to my spot so they could stop kicking in my doors and shit, man.
Well, it really is.
That should get expensive.
Yeah. It's it is a great solution, and it's a great situation when a business owner allows you to use a parking lot, because a lot of business owners won't, but says yes, you can use this parking lot. You can turn it into a little village, and we have security there 24 hours a day. It's just a way of, now of course what you're talking about is criminal behavior, and probably as a result of drug addictions, and that's its own issue. But there are also a lot of people who aren't criminals, who don't have drug problems, who are on the street and who need help, and those are the people that I think that you can come up with a really clear plan for.
No doubt. Hey, Jimmy, I applaud what you're doing, Jimmy, with you and your wife. A question: how's your son doing now? I know he's gone through some stuff. How's he doing now?
Yeah, my son Billy, he's 7 years old. He had his third open heart surgery in May, and he's doing great. You'd never know, other than the scar on his chest, you'd never know he had it. He's a very funny kid, and he's just like, he's totally fine now. He's hopefully will never have to have another surgery of any kind, and thanks to the Children's Hospital in LA, which is a great hospital, and he's I mean, I was going to tell you a story, but he's a weird kid. He's he's constantly squeezing his mother's ass. He says it's just so juicy. Will you stop?
Oh, so Jimmy. Hey,
there you go.
I told you more. Look, now I don't know about the mom cheeks, but you know what I mean. You can't. You. When them cheeks is right, man. You know what I mean. Sometimes when you know. You know what I mean?
Oh, hey. Jesus, where's the lawyer here? I need a lawyer.
No, see, this is all in good spirit and all in good fun. So you know what I mean, that all of that other shit that's for the birds.
You just tell them you're only allowed to squeeze mommy's ass.
Yes.
No one else.
Yes. Period. Full stop. Jesus. That's
Hey, listen, you volunteered to be part of this show. I can't help you. I don't know what to tell you. This is your idea.
By the way, have you been following any of the Olympics? I mean, that's coming. Speaking of what's coming into the streets of LA, the plane is landing. Athletes are coming, descending. It's all about the next Olympics. That torch is being passed to California.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I actually met with the Olympic Committee. When they landed their helicopter on the roof of the building across the street from us. It seems like it was 15 years ago, and we're still 4 years away. But I'm excited about having the Olympics. I love the Olympics. I've been to a bunch of them, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun having it in LA.
Well, you know what's crazy, Jimmy? I was with my son the other day. He's 13, and we're talking about, like, back in our day, me, you, and Gavin's day, like the sports now. Like, think about the Summer Olympics back in our day. There was gymnastics, there was swimming, there was track and field, basketball. Now there's breakdancing. There's every sport that, like, what, like, hula.
Seen some shit like hand soccer or something.
Dancing. And I'm like, this is crazy in terms of the sports. But no, it's been fascinating. Snoop's done an incredible job.
I know. I'm trying to get one of them kind of jobs. So, you say you talked to the Olympic Committee, Olympic Committee. Hey, throw my name in there. You feel me? Like, Sean want to do some of that shit that Snoop was doing. Come to the Olympics, talk his shit. You know
Jimmy, I could see Snoop and Marshawn in LA. Couldn't you, doing that stuff together?
Oh, yes. I mean, are you kidding me? That would be. I think we'd probably have to. Some of the we have to keep some of the speed related athletes away from them, but you might slow some people down. But I think, you guys would make quite a duo.
No. Not when it comes to getting your work. No. When it comes time to putting your work in, then you gotta pass that motherfucker to the left hand side, and then you gotta leave it alone until you done doing what you're doing. Then you could come partake in the festivities and activities. You know what I'm talking about? But because we are speaking the same language, you could be the translator for individuals like, for individuals like Batman or Doug who can't understand the Shine Jimmy, you know what I mean? They can't understand that. My boy Yim. See, he lost right now, but you could wheel him back in, and then he'd be like, oh, okay, cool. So that should be an Olympic. We need to go ahead and put that in the Olympics.
Hey, I have nothing to do with it, but I would be more than happy to be your Martha Stewart at the Olympics.
Oh man! I have way too much to do with this, and I ain't listening to any of this damn stuff. I'm taking none
so
of
this fall back on you.
Hey, you're talking the wrong. Yeah, exactly. Trust me.
My bad.
Trust me,
Batman. I mean, hey, let me direct my attention
Marshawn,
over
between
here.
Jimmy and Gavin, we'll find you a job at the Olympics in 28. We'll find you something down.
By the way, you guys were talking about all these fancy folks. I am curious. I'm serious because all these people you guys have met, all of you guys. But Jimmy, I'm curious, just for you, was there any time you've been starstruck by anybody? Like, legitimately, we're like, damn, it's someone that just, even if it was out of the norm, and you're like,
yeah. Well, I have moments that I just can't believe are happening to me. I got an email from Steve Martin today, and I was just like, I said to my wife, I'm like, and now what am I supposed to do? Just go about my day as if nothing happened? I mean, this is a guy who, when I was a kid, especially and all through my whole life, I've idolized, is one of the funniest people ever. And just to get the fact that he thought, oh, I'll send Jimmy Kimmel an email is mind boggling to me. But yeah, Don Rickles is somebody that I couldn't believe. Sometimes it's like you don't even really realize these people exist, in real life, and then they're sitting next to you on a couch, and I think once you forget like that's amazing and that's exciting, then you should probably stop doing your show, because it is amazing, it is exciting, and you always have to remember your 14-year-old self and how excited that person would be to see the future and what is coming, because it's not something I said. No one in my family is in show business. No one in my family, ever really did anything other than regular jobs or whatever, and it never occurred even to me that I might be on television one day. So to be in this situation is something that at least a couple of times a week I have to stop and remind myself, like, oh yeah, this is pretty crazy.
Hey, Jimmy, let me ask you a question. As you know, I'm an NFL sports agent, and I hate almost all the agents. I'm competitive, as you know. Are you in your business? Are you friends with Fallon? Are you friends? Do you and I still talk? Are you friends with these other hosts, or do you guys kind of stay in your own lane?
No, I am very good friends with all of the other late night hosts. In fact, we did a podcast together over the writer's strike, and we really bonded at that time. I fished with Jimmy Fallon over the summer. I'm going to fish with Colbert coming up pretty soon. We're really tight. In fact, for Colbert's 60th birthday, Fallon, John Oliver, Seth Meyers, and I came out to New York, and we surprised him and had a birthday dinner for him. His wife his wife told him that they were going to have a private dinner, just the two of them romantically together. And he got there, and it was the group of us. And it was pretty funny, actually, the reactions of the people in New York as we one by one filed out of the restaurant. They were losing their minds.
You guys talking business, or and what do you guys all talk about when you're together? You compare notes, or you just talk about life?
We goof around. We talk about
probably bust hella jokes on each other though.
You know what we do?
What about Conan?
Conan was not at that, but Conan is a friend of mine also. Yeah, Conan lives in L.A. and he's a really, really funny guy and
yeah, that's my dog. Conan fuck with me. I don't know why, but Conan turned me up, brought me on that show a couple times, really fucked around with him. Bill Maher? Bill Maher brought me on this shit too. He was solid. That's somebody who if we did do our, our crank anchor thing, we'll probably have to bring him too, because I think he smoke hella weed too.
He does smoke hella weed.
Dog seem like he be smoking hella weed too and busting hella funnies too. But that shit'd be interesting as fuck.
Yeah, so it's not like the old days where Leno and Letterman didn't get along, or even like where Leno and I didn't get along in the early days of our show. And I think a lot of it is because of YouTube and because of the fact that people watch the show when they feel like watching the show. In the old days, you had to watch the show at 11:30 or 12:30, whatever time the show was on. So you had to pick a show, and you don't anymore. You can watch all of them.
It's interesting. By the way, where do you think? I mean, I imagine you guys have to have these conversations you're having with your producers, et cetera. But when 10 years from now, where the hell do you see late night going in that context?
Well, I don't know if there will be any late night television shows on network TV in 10 years. Maybe there will be one, but there won't be a lot of them. The audience is, there's a lot to watch, and now people can watch anything at any time. They got all these streaming services. It used to be like, Johnny Carson was the only thing on at 11:30. And so everybody watched. And then David Letterman was on after Johnny. And so people would watch those two shows. But now there are so many options. And maybe even more significantly, the fact that people are able to easily watch your monologue online the next day, it really cancels out the need to watch it when it's on the air. And once people stop watching it when it's on the air, networks are going to stop paying for it to be made.
Can you, Jimmy, when you're done, can you walk away and disappear? Can you get away from this and just like, I'm out? Or do you always got to be cranking it and doing busy things?
Well, it depends on what you mean by cranking it, but you know what? I will have a hard time when it's over. I know that's why I asked Marshawn earlier about his transition after playing, is because it worries me, and that's part of the reason why I keep going. Each time I think, well, this is going to be my last contract, and then I wind up signing another contract. It's because I fear that day, that Monday after my final show, and it's like, okay, now what I'm going to do? Now what am I going to do? Because there's not I don't know, there aren't a huge number of options for late night hosts after the shows are over. People think of you as a late night talk show host, and it's not like you're suddenly going to start starring in films.
Try to be an ex-politician, Jimmy. Jesus, I mean, I'll take your status over the ex-politician status.
Yeah, and our future's not bright, Gavin.
No, it's really depressing. Yeah, we got to sell by. Well, I got to sell by dates called term limits. You don't necessarily.
Hey, Sean, I think you and I can find Jimmy and Gavin a job when they're done, right, Marshawn? We'll find them something to do here.
Yeah, Marshawn, you're going to be you're our sage. You'll guide us.
But Jimmy, it's interesting as an agent, like in the NFL, like if Marshawn walked away, he retired in his own terms, and he still had to figure out what's next. But 99% of these athletes, the phone stops ringing. So then they're just like, okay, I might play, I might not. And then you don't really know. There's no one telling you, okay, it's time to leave. And so now you got to figure out life. And that's the hard part as far as most of these players in every sport, because, and I assume entertainment's the same way. It's even worse because, the phone stops ringing. There's no more, auditions, whatever it may be. So your space in the athletic space is a brutal, brutal space. And I applaud you for making it as far as you've done, and as is Marshawn. And by the way, Jimmy and Marshawn, that we talked about at the top of the show, is first year of eligibility this year for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yes,
so
right.
I think he'll get in next year, and that's what we're going to campaign for. But in any event, it's a tough space you guys are in.
Marshawn, who will give your Hall of Fame speech?
Shit, probably my mama.
Oh, wow. Nice. You got to get her good and baked before she makes that speech.
Oh, man. You know what? She going to make sure she take care of that herself. She probably, only thing she probably going to say is just make sure you got that doty pack for me ready to go.
I love that idea that you would have your mother induct you into the Hall of Fame. Has anyone ever done that before? I don't think so.
I don't know, but I know my mama was, I can't even say is my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. And I mean, shit, I could just remember the first time, I was getting ready for a game. I'm in there, laying out my jersey, my pants, my socks, my cleats. Like, I'm gonna put my helmet right here. Got my mouthpiece, this, that, and that. I was so motherfucking happy. And my mama come in the room like, boy, what the hell you doing? I'm like, motherfucker, you in here laying out your uniform like it's the first day of school. I'm like, it is.
That's right.
It is. We lost our first game, bro. I was crying and hella shit. My mama told me some of the best advice that it stuck with me, for the rest of my career. Like, boy, you over here crying and shit. Like, you get to go out and do this again next week. So just go do better. I'm like, I get to do this again? Like, yeah. Like, you got about 9-10 games left on the schedule. Oh man, that was like, you feel me?
Is your mother the one who told you to let your nuts hang down?
Man,
Jesus.
From a tiny Tim, you know what I mean? From a tiny Tim, moms was always, you feel me though, pushing that issue like, yeah, boy, when you get out there, you gotta let them nuts hang. And
okay. Jimmy, Mama Lynch is the best. I mean, his biggest fan by far. And her Hall of Fame speech will be epic. Trust me.
By the way, Marsha, you may not. Mama Lynch she left me like a 3-minute voicemail last week about all the political stuff. Give me the same goddamn advice. Literally, I was like, it was literally showed up. I haven't heard from her forever. It said Mama Lynch. I'm like, you can't make this up.
Hell yeah.
And she did like all this advice, and everything's gonna be great. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
she's got it. We gotta, she should
know
be
what,
the one getting.
Mom's got some ism. You feel what I'm saying? Mom's got some ism, and one thing about her, I'm a tell a motherfucker straight up, like, nah, I'm cool. I ain't trying to talk to you like that. You feel me though? But Mom's gonna, man, come here, man. And I don't care who it is. She gonna come and she gonna give you some game, and you gonna walk away from it like, damn, that shit make a lot of sense.
Hey, Jimmy, there'd be games in Seattle where I go up there and I'd be like, "Hey, Mama Lynch, you want to go grab some lunch?" She's like, "No, I can't. I got an appearance." So the fans loved her so much up in Seattle. Literally, they would book her for appearances. The only mom I've known ever done this. So you get to Seattle, she'd be making 5-10 grand a game, going to tailgates and going to bars and whatnot, signing autographs
hands, kissing
for the
babies,
fans in Seattle.
So look, it was not only that, like, because you know what I mean, we individuals with big hearts and shit. So you know what I mean, I didn't build relationships with a lot of my teammates. So you feel me? When it comes down to it, it's like, oh, okay, this my other son, and that other son happened to be me. So you know, my moms would get with shit. I'm talking about all the mamas from the team. Like, hey, come on, we could go over here. We go sign autographs for about an hour and a half before the game. We go get a couple dollars. So, you know what I mean? We come out on the field, you know, everybody looking for they moms in the designated spots, and motherfuckers looking around like, hey, man, where I don't see my mama. Like, oh yeah, bro, I forgot to tell you, bro. Moms done took them over here to Tacoma to the casino. They over there doing an autograph signing. They'll be here probably like around, you know what I mean, by the time the first quarter come. Clockwork. We come out running on the field for the start of the game. They sitting there like they been there the whole time. Hey, baby, come here, give me my hug and shit. Like, where you been at? Oh, shit, I had to go get me a bag right quick. And I'm talking about from Mama Sherman to Mama Thomas, Mama Irvin, Mama Coleman, like, you know what I mean? All the moms. And then you feel me? Like, hold on. You got a sister? Okay, well, shit, bring your sister too. So now they got the moms and the aunties and that motherfucker autographs. So when you come out and you hear all that screaming, you think it's for the teens, but hell no, the cameras done went and put the mamas on the jumbotron, and they cheering for the mamas and shit. Like, yeah.
Jimmy, what you have any of that? Was your mama like that, Jimmy?
Yeah, no, my mother is she doesn't love being on camera, which of course makes me eager to put her on camera. Once years ago when we were doing the Man Show, I sat my mother down and I said, and I didn't tell her what we're going to do, but I sat her down in front of the camera and I said, Mom, when I was a kid, you never explained the facts of life to me. You never told me about sex. I had to figure it out from a neighbor, you know? So what I'd like you to do right now, my mother's very uptight when it comes to this type of subject. I said, I want you to explain sex to me right now.
Oh, put her on the spot like that?
I'm like 31 at the time. She tried to joke her way through it, and I was like, no, tell me how it worked. Tell me, start at the beginning and tell me how it works.
How did that work out?
It was very uncomfortable for her and very funny for me.
Oh, shit. Hold on now. So you bring it up as a, you talk about when you was a kid and shit.
Yeah.
Was you a funny ass kid too?
Yeah, I was always fucking around. That was my that was just how I entertain myself in classes, is interrupting the class. And some of the teachers really didn't like it, and some of the teachers really did like it. So the teachers that really did like it, I will never forget. And the teachers that really didn't like it, I guess I'll never forget them either. But it fueled me in different ways. Sure.
Did you have hands too? Was you in any little fight? No fights?
No, I was a year younger than everybody. I think I weighed 126 pounds in high school. You
was a little guy. Because hold on, I was hollering at one of my folks, man. He do some work with me, and he was telling me, I guess when you was in it might have been grade school.
Yeah.
The kids used to call you, came to not with a backpack, but with a briefcase.
Oh, the
and
briefcase.
They used to call you briefcase Joe, is it?
That is right. Yeah. My first day of junior high school in Las Vegas at Kenny Gwynn Junior High School, my mom said, hey, Dad got a new briefcase and maybe you want to take his old briefcase to school. And, it was my first day of seventh grade. I was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. I'm like an adult now. I'll go in with a briefcase. And so I put all my stuff in the briefcase and I walked into the lunchroom. This first day, and I'll never forget it. I walk in and some bigger kids look over at me and they go, hey, Briefcase Joe. And my heart sank. I was like, and I was so mad at my mother. Like, she should have known better to give me this briefcase.
Hold on. So when they So did that name stick for a while?
It didn't. Thank God it didn't. I imagined it at that moment being my name for the whole rest of my school career, but luckily I don't think I ever saw those kids again, and I definitely never brought that briefcase back. But
so you retired that motherfucker.
I did I wrote a rap song with Eminem on the show once, and that was the title of the song. It's on YouTube. It's called Briefcase Joe, and it's about the childhood trauma I experienced from bringing my dad's briefcase to work.
Hell yeah. Did you bust hella jokes on him?
Yeah, no. I knew that I'd made a mistake, and I turned right around and walked out.
Oh shit!
See, I wish I took that advice. I used to go to school with a suit on, so we'll talk about that another time.
Wow. Man, so hold on, man. So you mean to tell me when you was in school,
a little gel, little whole thing? It was like, but no one told me to stop. I didn't even get it.
Oh, you was a playboy,
so I'm surprised I'm still here. Talk about it.
You were like born to be governor.
No, I'm telling you, a suit to school.
How old were you when you were wearing the suit?
I don't know. It's like 8th, 9th grade, and I'm running around with a little clip tie, the whole thing.
All the way through high school, you wore a suit?
Well, it was when I discovered, you were talking about sex there, but I discovered hair gel. And that was like revelatory.
It's a good alternative.
Little dippity-doo. I played basketball my sophomore year, and they had a little cheer that says dippity doo, Gavin, we love you. I was like, I was a rock star.
I believe the jail. I believe the jail. I believe the suit. But you playing basketball,
Did you play baskdoll in the suit, or would you change into the uniform?
Buddy, very cute. Jesus, I only wore a suit once for basketball.
Gel running down his goddamn hair and down his hair and down his face.
Look good in high tops and a suit. You're looking real good. Jesus.
Wow. Hey Jimmy, by the way, you and Marshawn do have something in common, Jimmy. Although Marshawn, tell Jimmy where your honorary degree's from.
Oh, you can't see that motherfucker from Princeton.
Yeah, Princeton. Well, Jimmy. Yeah. Jimmy's at UNLV and you're at Princeton. Something's wrong with that, Marshawn.
Well, what's wrong with that? Hold on, man. You gotta show love to the kid, man.
I am showing love to you.
Not just Princeton, though. You feel me? And slid through Cal too. So
Cal too. That's right. I mean, so, Jimmy, we're all state school kids.
We are state. I'm a 960 SAT kid. I don't know about that UC nonsense.
Did you really get a 960 on your
960, buddy? I think it literally was 960 or 980. My mom said, don't even take it again because she's like, it ain't going to get easier. It's not going to get better. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, hair gel, a suit, and a 960 SAT. How the hell did I end up here?
You forgot the high tops with that suit.
I got a 1280 on my SCTV, and I was still drunk from the night before when I took
1280. How the hell you get 1280? Were you getting you're getting all that private tutoring or something?
No, I never did a tutoring or anything.
Man, some people just got it.
Oh, really? Is that how it works, Marshawn?
Some people just got it. Some people come stock with this shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Really, Doug? You and I, buddy.
Hey, by the way, my SAT is below Gavin's, Jimmy. No bullshit. I took mine the day after my father died, so I didn't get a very good score.
All right. Well, but that's an excuse. I don't have a goddamn excuse.
He just 960.
A little learning. A little dyslexia. I'll give myself a little grace.
Oh, okay.
I got a little, so I wasn't good at those sort of, the rote.
Well, Gavin, you ended up in a good spot. You've overachieved, Gavin. Okay, you went from getting bullied to hair gel to the governor. So you've done a good job.
You super overachieved. I mean, by all accounts, you were a kind of an imbecile in high school, I guess. At 960.
I think this is a good way to end the goddamn podcast. I think we're done. Bastards. I'm over all of you.
Was they taking your lunch money too?
Oh man, we'll talk about all those things another damn time, man. Yeah, really. Seriously. Mr. Princeton. Really?
Hey, look, Jimmy, I just told you some people just got it.
Some people just got it.
You feel
honorary degrees is what they got. Honorary
They
degrees.
did it right too. On my degree, they put Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch. Beast mode in parentheses. So somebody over there at Princeton knew what the fuck they was doing. You know what I mean? And then you get a top flight like me to come up out of Princeton. Like, you feel me? I just prestige them about a couple another more notches on their prestige level. You feel me? I get people talking about, you know what I mean? Hey, Marshawn, you think you could get me in this Princeton club? Like, nah, you a square, bro. We don't rock with like you up in, you know what I mean? You gotta go put some work in first. Go get your hands dirty. We gotta make sure you 10 toes down.
to end that, Jimmy, I want to say we really appreciate you coming on vacation, and we've always admired what you've done. Your career has been epic, and can't thank you enough for joining us today.
Yep. And before we let you go, I've been making this a thing though when we got individuals come on. Hey, how are you? How are you doing though?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm enjoying life. It's a nice question to ask. I appreciate you asking that question, and I will say everything's. I can't complain. I'm in a good spot.
All right, that's all good, man.
Thank you, Dr. Lynch.
No problem. Hey, that's what I'm here for. Lynch. That's what I'm here for, man. They didn't give me no specific title with my honorary degree, so I'm a man of many hats. Right now, I'm a dummy ducker right now. So you feel me? I'm ducking and dodging dummies right now. So you know what I mean, they come at the right time. So right now, you know, I am Dr. Lynch. You know what I mean, Dr. Beast Mode Lynch, and you know, I just want to make sure that you're doing good. You know what I mean, personally.
There's a Mr. Beast and there's a Dr. Beast.
There's a Dr. Beast.
That's
I want to check the license of this Mr. Doctor, whatever the hell is. Look, man,
Jesus
Christ!
Don't make me go up on that wall and break down that degree. I just want to see your
license to practice, brother.
Yeah, I got it. It's called orange juice and a blunt for breakfast, and then we good.
Oh, Jesus. And with that, Jimmy, thanks for joining us, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Good to be with you.
Take care.